I'm here with Danny Schoening, CEO of Optex Systems. We're talking ticker symbol OPXS. Nice to see you. How are you doing today?
Very good. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. I'm excited to dive into all of this. Can you first just give us an overview of what your company is?
Yeah, Optex Systems is a publicly traded company. We're predominantly in the military space. United States DoD is a predominant customer, along with primes like General Dynamics, Lockheed, BAE Systems. We do some commercial through Nightforce Optics, but predominantly we're a military support company.
And when I look at kind of the numbers here, 76% growth from prior year. We're talking 2024 fiscal year. So consistent growth the last 4 years. What factors do you think contribute to that?
Yeah, we've made several nice moves into the space. So we do laser protection. So laser protection is on most of our products, whether that's in the periscope form on the armored vehicles. So you hear periscope and you think maybe a submarine, but every armored vehicle has periscopes around the perimeter to allow the soldier to access line of sight. So the enemy has high power laser rangefinders, and if that laser would strike the soldier's eye, it's going to blind them. So the US DoD mandates that you have to have laser protection on all these products. So we put laser protection on the periscopes. And then we also have our AOC division, the Applied Optics Center over in Dallas, Texas. And they use the same laser protection films on laser filter units. So these would go on devices like rifle scopes, enhanced night vision goggles, or even the new IVAS system.
Okay. Are you talking, there's a $5.7 million laser filter contract, right? Is that what you're talking about?
That was actually separate even from that. So that's, I'll say, in addition.
You got a lot going on.
So that's right. So that one is actually through Vortex. Vortex won the sighting system that goes on the next generation squad weapon. Okay. And this supports that. In this case, it's protecting the sensors inside that device. So we can either protect the human eye or we can protect the actual sensors, like cameras, like night vision tubes, etc.
Yeah, it's very fascinating stuff. Obviously, for really intense purposes, no room for error here. How do you differentiate yourself from other competitors?
Yeah, the trick is a combination of, I'll say, barriers to entry. So the equipment that we use to produce these products are like 2-meter chambers. So you could stand up inside them. We pull a vacuum. We hit the material with a laser beam, enhanced laser beam gun that'll melt the material. The molecules float around, stick to the glass, and then we do that again with a different material, and we create these layers. And when we create these layers, and that actually absorbs the penetrating laser light. So we design the optics ourselves. So the government just tells us what wavelengths to protect. We design the film. So we're very sole source from a standpoint of, you have very expensive equipment. You have a lot of know-how. They've been in the industry 25, 30 years making these products. So there's a lot of barriers for people to come try to break into that market. So we try to be competitive. We're high volume, so the government likes our pricing. And again, it's good parts on time, world-class costs, and the customers will still buy from you.
Yeah, well, you've had great growth the last 4 years. Where do you see the growth trajectory kind of moving forward into 26, 27, 28?
Yeah, I see that the same technology can be applied for other applications. We're now using similar techniques to provide IR filters or IR films that'll go on exhaust systems for vehicles to reduce their thermal print. Okay. We also see Optex moving into more of the sighting systems. So we pretty much dominate the periscope space here in the U.S. We also see that coming through on the side of sighting systems. So we do cameras. The electro-optical mechanical side of that is always pretty tricky. That's always a good business for us. So.
Yeah, and then how are you looking to mitigate any supply chain issues? Is that something kind of you're predicting, or a hurdle you're looking to kind of find solutions for?
Actually, it's not that big of an issue to us, because typically with the US DoD contract, they will issue you FAR clauses. So a FAR clause that we have in almost all of our contracts are that if you bring in material, import material, it is exempt from those tariffs or taxes. So the FAR clause is embedded in there. So really the tariff issue is not an issue for us.
That's great. Good to hear.
Yep.
Another big thing, this is very significant, $46 million backlog, right? Do you have systems in place for that?
Yep.
How are you planning on managing that?
Yeah, we continue to have somewhat, the supply chain has tightened up over the last several years. Now backlog has grown. It's always a struggle between the customers. Once they understand that you're on time, you're meeting the needs, they don't need to extend their POs out as far as they have been. But you'll see that contract we announced yesterday, that's a 16, 18-month contract. We'll also get 3 to 4, 5-year IDIQ contracts. All those deliveries come in. But from our perspective, we've been able to manage the supply chain coming out of the pandemic, getting the supply chain back up to where they need to be from the delivery perspective. And we do actually publish our backlog by quarter when we publish our Qs and Ks to give our investors at least a preview of what we're working towards. So the last Q, we said we're working towards $9.5 million in revenue, and we'll do more than $9.5 million in revenue. So we'll try to give them that type of information so the investors feel good about what we're working on.
Yeah. What would you say is the addressable market and kind of looking forward?
So again, we hope to continue to grow at that 20% or more per year. And if we can look at a couple acquisitions, we've made some small acquisitions, but we look forward to finding more. The government continues to put higher barriers on companies like CMMC, the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certificate. That's tough. That's going to be tough for people to come in and break into this market. So really what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that we're enablers and people will come to us. So if they have the technology, they want to try to get it into the DoD, they can come through us because we have all that type of support systems already in place.
And maybe you mentioned it, but just when you think about your biggest hurdle, what's the biggest obstacle that you have, and what are ways that you overcome that?
Typically, it's finding the right people, right? So you cannot grow without your workforce. So we're at about 140 people right now. We'll continue to add on, but yeah, good skill sets in that space help. We have great partners. Our customers like GDLS and BAE, they bring us in on new contracts. So we were able to get on to the Booker lightweight vehicle, lightweight tank for GDLS. Great relationship. With that is this, where do you bring on optical engineers, mechanical engineers, that type of support structure? So that's going to be a challenge for us. But being located in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you have great access to, a lot of people, but major universities. It's also a great area from a standpoint of photolithography, right? You have Texas Instruments, you have all these guys down there that have been in the photolith for integrated circuit technology. We use some of those same processes over on the coding side of the business. So we have access to that talent.
Talk about international expansion. Are there plans for that?
Yeah, we have sold directly into Israel, Chile, Brazil, but most of those sales come through the U.S. government. So Defense Logistics Agency or other agencies will buy for these other countries, and that works great for us. So we are ITAR registered. So if we get an opportunity to provide to a foreign entity, we provide information to the Department of State. They come back and say, yeah, it's a good entity or it's a bad entity. But it's really helpful for a small company like ourselves or, a mid-sized company like ourselves because they do the vetting. So we know that we're supplying into reliable people who are, they're our allies. So DLA and the defense system usually help that procurement process.
When you're speaking to shareholders, for example, when you're looking at addressable market, what are the plans for growth moving forward?
Yeah, our core business within Optex predominantly is around the sighting systems and growth within that space. So the good news is, the primes continue to develop the next platform. So GDLS with the platform on the Booker, okay, BAE with the AMP-V program. So each one of these programs add to our base. So at the same time we have these new programs coming on, we're continuing to support the units like M113 APC that came out of the Vietnam era. Okay, now the U.S. has supplied those to other countries, but now those other countries need periscopes to supply that too. So we get growth through the expansion of that base. On the AOC side, we get growth through the expansion of the technology being able to enable other things. So the technology being able to aid filters that might protect cameras on UAVs, the filters that might be able to protect cameras on other sensor-based products, but the same technology of laser protection is applicable across other things, and the processes are even used for producing this IR signature that we're seeing on exhaust fans. Okay.
Talk to us a little bit about some of your key partners and relationships.
Yeah, we've had a great relationship with General Dynamics through GDLS in the U.S. and GDLS Canada. Also BAE Systems, great partner delivering parts out to York, Pennsylvania for them. Lockheed Martin, L3 Harris, and on the commercial side, Nightforce Optics, a fantastic rifle scope manufacturer. So a lot of good partners that have helped bring us in. They usually approach us with these opportunities, and when there's a next generation product, they approach us and say, hey, where can you help us in this space?
What does the discovery to deployment cycle look like?
Typically, our customers will come to us and request product designed or even a new product. It'll take maybe a year to 18 months to actually get that first prototype in front of them. They then deploy it, so their cycle is a 2 to 3 year. Then upon award, it's usually they call it LRIP, low rate of initial production. The LRIP cycle is usually a 1 to 2 year, and then you're launching into the full production. The good news on these platforms is they're around 30, 40, 50 years. So it is a little bit of a lengthy cycle to get on, but once you're on, you're on.
Incredible. Thank you so much for
Thank
stopping
you.
by and talking
Appreciate
about
it.
your company.
Thank you.